How can you naturally sharpen your eyesight at home? Usually, it starts very subtly. Maybe you're in a dimly lit restaurant and catch yourself pushing the menu a little further away just to read the appetizers. Or perhaps you're driving at night, and the streetlights that used to be clear orbs now burst into messy, star-shaped glares. If you're over 40, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We often feel this as a betrayal, as if our bodies are simply giving up on us. But have you ever wondered if your eyes might not be broken at all, but rather just exhausted and starved? Today, we're going to go over ways that can sharpen your focus and reduce that heavy, scratchy eye strain in less than 2 weeks. By the end of this video, you'll have a completely new understanding of how to naturally nourish and train your eyesight at home. To understand why your vision is blurring, you need to stop thinking of your eye as a camera. Your eye is more like a high-performance biological engine, and like any engine running at full speed, which your eyes do from the moment you wake up, it produces enormous amounts of heat and waste. Every time light hits your retina, a chemical explosion occurs to send that signal to your brain. This explosion creates residue. In your 20s, your body has a cleanup crew that immediately clears away this residue. But as you age, this cleanup crew slows down, and the residue piles up like trash on a city sidewalk. That's where the blurriness comes from. It's oxidative stress. So, the first step to reclaiming your eyesight isn't an exercise, but an internal cleanup operation. That brings us to the fuel source. Most people think of carrots and leave it at that, but carrots are just the starter fuel. If you really want to protect your eyesight, you need to understand the concept of internal sunglasses. What if the secret to sharper vision wasn't in a bottle of drops, but on your plate? Deep inside your eye, right at the back, is the macula. It's the center of your visual field, the part responsible for picking up fine details like text on a smartphone screen. The macula has a yellow pigment that acts exactly like blue light-blocking glasses. It filters out high-energy light before it burns your photoreceptors. The denser this pigment is, the better your eyesight. Your body can't produce this pigment on its own. You have to get it through your diet. Researchers have found that certain compounds, lutein and zeaxanthin, are the building blocks of this internal shield. Think of them as the bricks for your defensive wall. You can find them in dark, leafy greens like spinach and kale. But here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They eat these vegetables raw or in a fat-free smoothie. These nutrients are fat-soluble. If you don't eat them with fat, they just slip right through your digestive system, and your eyes get nothing. So, if you're eating a salad, you need that olive oil or avocado, otherwise you're wasting your time. But a wall isn't enough. You also need to keep the machine oiled. The photoreceptors in your eyes require a constant supply of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA. The retina has the highest concentration of DHA of any part of the body. If you aren't eating fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines at least twice a week, you're basically asking your engine to run without oil. If you hate fish, a high-quality algae-based supplement is your best friend. This isn't just about health, it's about contrast. When your retina is well-oiled with omega-3s, you'll notice that black text looks blacker and white paper looks whiter. That washed-out look will start to disappear. Now, while you're upgrading your fuel, you also need to look at the environment you're putting this engine into. We need to talk about the blinking crisis. Did you know that you might be stripping moisture from your eyes every time you look at your smartphone? Imagine driving in pouring rain, but your windshield wipers only swipe once a minute. You wouldn't be able to see a thing. That's exactly what happens to your eyes when you use a computer. Normally, Humans blink about 18 times a minute. It's a reflex, but studies have shown that our blink rate plummets to about 4 or 5 times a minute when we stare at a digital screen. We literally forget to blink. And it's not just about the number of blinks, it's about the quality. When you're looking at a screen, you tend to do half blinks, where your eyelid doesn't go all the way down. That's a disaster for your cornea. Your tear film is a complex 3-layer sandwich, a mucus layer that sticks to the eye, a water layer for moisture, and an oil layer on top that prevents the water from evaporating. If you don't blink completely, that oil layer isn't released. The water evaporates instantly, leaving you with dry, scratchy spots in your field of vision. So how do we fix this without obsessively counting our blinks? You need to change your lighting environment to reduce the stare factor. The biggest enemy here is contrast. If your screen is a bright light source and your room is dark, your eyes are working overtime. It's like staring into a flashlight in a cave. You should match the brightness of your screen to the brightness of the room. If your office has harsh fluorescent overhead lights, it creates a flicker that your brain constantly has to process, leading to mild headaches and fatigue. Turn off the overhead lights if you can. Get a desk lamp with a warm, soft bulb and position it so the light reflects off the wall behind your monitor. This creates indirect lighting, a soft glow that balances the room and allows your eyes to relax, naturally bringing your blink rate back up. Once you have the right fuel and the environment is stabilized, you're ready for training. And yes, you can train your eyes, but probably not the way you think. Can you actually train your eyes to stay young, or is decline inevitable? Inside your eye, there's a muscle called the ciliary muscle. Its only job is to squeeze the lens to focus on things up close, and to relax so the lens can flatten out for distance. Think of this muscle like a rubber band. In your youth, this rubber band is fresh and stretchy. You can look at your smartphone, then at a mountain, and the focus adjusts instantly. But starting around age 40, this rubber band begins to get stiff and loses its elasticity. This is called presbyopia. While we can't completely stop the aging process, we can prevent this rubber band from drying out entirely. The problem today is that we spend 10 hours a day locking this muscle in the contracted position while staring at smartphones and monitors. Imagine holding a bicep curl for 10 hours straight. Your arm would cramp up. That's exactly what happens to your ciliary muscle. It creates an accommodative spasm. To release this spasm, we need to introduce active recovery. The most effective movement for this is the near-far shift, but we're going to do it with precision. Sit comfortably and hold your thumb about 10 inches from your face. Focus entirely on your thumbprint. Try to see the ridges of the skin. You should hold this focus intensely for about 5 seconds. Then, immediately shift your gaze to something across the room that is at least 20 feet away. A clock on the wall or a tree outside, it doesn't matter, but don't just look at it. Focus on it. Try to make out the details. You might feel a slight pulsing or a delay as your eyes adjust. That's the muscle releasing the tension. Do this back and forth, thumb, wall, 10 times. It takes less than a minute, but you're effectively doing push-ups for your focusing mechanism. If you do this daily, you'll notice that the time it takes to switch focus gets shorter. That's the feeling of your visual system getting younger. But strength is nothing without relaxation. Sometimes the visual system is simply too overstimulated to relax on its own. The optic nerve is basically a direct extension of your brain. When your eyes are stressed, your brain is stressed too. To break this cycle, we use a technique called palming. This is the ultimate reset button. It's not just about closing your eyes. It's about creating absolute darkness. Rub your palms together vigorously until they feel hot. Generate some friction heat, and then cup your hands over your closed eyes. The key here is not to touch your eyelids with your palms. The hollow of your hand should form a little cave over your eye socket. The heat from your hands penetrates the tissue and increases blood flow, while the absolute darkness signals the optic nerve to stop firing. Take a deep breath, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Imagine the color black. It sounds silly, but often when we close our eyes, we still see gray static or flashes of light. That's residual neural noise. Try to make this field as black as possible. Doing this for just 2 minutes can reboot your tear film and relax the ciliary muscle more effectively than an hour of sleep. As a bonus, I now want to teach you a technique called the peripheral reset. This is the missing link that almost no one talks about, but it's crucial for anyone who spends their day in front of a screen. Could a simple shift in how you perceive the space around you instantly lower your stress levels? Modern life forces us into what scientists call foveal tunnel vision. We are constantly zooming in on tiny details like emails, texts, and street signs. This puts our nervous system on high alert. Evolutionarily speaking, tunnel vision means you are hunting or being hunted, which releases adrenaline. But our eyes were designed to operate in a panoramic mode. This exercise is meant to switch your brain from alarm mode to awareness mode. You can do this right now while watching this video. Pick a spot on the wall directly in front of you. Keep your eyes fixed on that spot. Now, without moving your eyes, I want you to start noticing what's happening at the extreme edges of your visual field. Can you see the ceiling? Can you see the floor? Can you see the walls to your left and right? Don't look at them. Just become aware of them. Imagine your visual field expanding, like a camera lens zooming out. Try to take in the entire room at once while keeping your gaze soft in the center. If you do this successfully, you might feel a physical shift. Your breathing will slow down, and your shoulders will drop. That's your parasympathetic nervous system kicking in. By expanding your peripheral awareness, you're telling your brain, I am safe, I can see everything. This is incredibly powerful for reducing eye strain because it forces the ciliary muscle to let go of that tight, narrow focus. Just do this for 30 seconds whenever you feel overwhelmed at your desk. It's an instant reboot for your visual cortex. So here is your plan of attack. You don't have to completely overhaul your life overnight. Start with the internal sunglasses. Add spinach and healthy fats to your dinner tonight. Tomorrow at work, adjust your lighting so you aren't fighting the glare. And when you feel that familiar headache creeping in around 2 p.m., don't immediately reach for the aspirin. Pause, rub your palms together, and give your eyes 2 minutes of absolute darkness. Your body wants to heal. It wants to see clearly. You just have to give it the tools to do so. If these insights into natural vision have changed your perspective on your health, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. We are uncovering the biological truths that have been hidden right in front of our eyes. Let's bring the focus to a clearer future together. The next treasure trove of knowledge will be revealed soon.